Well, hello and welcome to our Tuesday encouragement for this week. We've got a real treat this morning. Barbara Evans is going to be bringing us something just a little bit different from what we normally experience on our Tuesday encouragement. So it'll be my great joy to introduce Barbara to you in just a moment. But before we do, let me encourage you to join us if you can, 12:30 today via Zoom for our online prayer meeting. Today we're going to be praying very specifically about leadership within the area of children's and youth work, thinking too about local schools as well. We'll also be praying into matters both locally, nationally and internationally around leadership as well. So I hope you can join us at 12:30. Well, of course, this coming weekend is a great celebration for us as a church as well. Rachel and Henry will finally be getting married after a couple of postponements this coming weekend. You're encouraged to join us, not in person, but via our online live stream, 1 o'clock on Saturday. Please do join us as we celebrate the marriage of Rachel and of Henry. And then this coming Sunday, join us if you can. Usual time, 10:30 on our online platform. Kay will be wrapping up our sermon series, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Mission. We'll also have a change of location for this coming weekend as well, so please do look out for that. Well, now it's my great privilege to introduce to you Barbara Evans, who's going to be looking at the story of John as he writes the words of Revelation. Isn't it great that we have a God who is in the business of making new beginnings and transforming all things? And Barbara is going to share a great phrase at the end of what she has to say today, and I hope you'll look out for it. She says, trial and perseverance will be worth it when we are finally reunited.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're managing to cope with these strange times as well as can be expected. And I hope also, like me, that the easing of the lockdown has meant that you can see more family and more friends, which certainly makes a difference to life. Well, last week I was reading this book. It's called The Word of the Wives, and it's by Abby Guinness, a very committed Christian lady. And she imagines what the thoughts and feelings might be of the wives of some of the most prolific men in the Bible. For example, there's a chapter on Mrs. Potiphar and a chapter on Mrs. Noah. But the one I've chosen to do today is Mrs. John, who is a figment of Abby's imagination. She imagines John the Baptist's wife waiting to hear from him while he's in exile. And what she receives is part of his revelations. So today I'm going to do for you Mrs. John. The instant this arrived, I came over all prickly, like I just jumped in a cold plunge. It was the sight of his familiar handwriting, the relief of knowing that he's alive. That man has brought me nothing but worry. Peter was crucified upside down, and then Paul was beheaded, leaving John top of the hit list. I begged him to hide, but you might as well try to hold back Niagara and stop John from preaching. They took him, my sweet old John, across the sea to Patmos. A Greek island, you smile. What can be so bad? But Patmos isn't all retsina and hummus. It's manacles that eat the flesh of your wrists and ankles. Who would subject an old man in frail health to hard labour? But that's our Roman masters for you. They're pro-faith, pro-spirituality, pro-anything you want to believe in, as long as it's not Jesus. If that's who you follow, the emperor wants you torn apart for sport. I haven't seen my John for years. I was beginning to panic that we've had no contact. But why did I fear? Seems he's been busy writing the longest letter known to man, or his wife. He sounds surprisingly upbeat for a man in exile. The food could be better and the facilities aren't great, especially in the hot weather. But on the plus side, I've got plenty of time for prayer. That man could find the silver lining in the dung of a sick goat. John asks, would I mind having the enclosed letter copied 7 times by someone trustworthy and sent to the 7 churches instead. The whole thing is a vision. I thought at first hallucination was more like it. I wondered if the isolation was finally getting to him. Either that or he'd had too much sun. All these fantastical creatures and dizzying storylines. But I can't write it off. It ties up all the threads far too coherently. It's vintage John. He's always had a penchant for the poetic. There's his usual treasure hunt of numbers and riddles. He knows I've never been any good at cryptic crosswords, but this time I get the gist. I know who 666 is without having to think. Our great imperial oppressor. He doesn't come off all that well. The Almighty steals his glory and trumps his red carpet worship. If he gets wind of this, he'll be baying for blood. I don't want to face that now, even if he is subject to eternal judgment afterwards. Mind you, we're already facing it. Drunkenness, beasts, fires. Sounds just like town on a Friday night. Poverty, earthquakes, and full-on war, all that we hear, and the evening news. And it goes on to power lust and famine and death and financial crisis. We paint a sorry picture. But right in the middle of this mess, just when you think it can't get any worse, there's a revelation. Get this. Jesus is coming back. And he's dressed up for the occasion. He comes in blazing with a mighty soundtrack. And corruption and death get trounced once and for all. Freedom! As soon as that's sorted, can you Adam and Eve it? God comes to live with us here on earth, a brand spanking new world. And then we'll be able to forget how it is now, because it's going to be God living down here with us. He's going to have to do a pretty big renovation job to want to move in. But he does. Listen, God himself will be with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more. Which isn't a happy ending, is it? It's a new beginning. A repossession of the beautiful way things started out. And this place will shine like it was made to. And so will we. I've read this through 10 times already since this morning. It's a page turner. Bestseller. You watch. I just know everyone's going to read it and say, so that's what's going on. I get it now. Now I can hear his voice. We're united in patient endurance. Slightly optimistic of him. I've never been patient. I'm desperate to see him and hold him and know that he's in one piece and show him his little granddaughter. One of a new generation who might take John's message a great deal further than Greece. So I won't lose hope. Not now. Hold on, John. If this vision's anything to go by, trial and perseverance will be worth it when we're reunited. And I hope that this has encouraged you as it encouraged me, and that this too will pass, and that one day soon we will be reunited as a church family.